This is Carnival Catwalk, where fashion meets carnival.
This was like a cacophony of color.
Look at people by the drum, look at people by the drum.
We have searched far and wide for 10 of the most fearless, creative fashion designers in the world.
And they're all here for one common goal, and that is to snatch the grand prize of $100,000 and to prove that they are the ultimate fashion maestro.
That's a project run well love now, you know.
Could you imagine this is the first time we've seen her sew for the day?
I love this projecting into the future.
The whole time I thought he is coming back to Carnival for sure.
And you are about to witness a competition like no other. It's Rome!
And I'm Candy. Get ready for an epic adventure in fashion.
This is Carnival Catwalk.
Fashion has to fit. It's wearable art. His garment does not fit.
Remember, we don't want ordinary, we want extraordinary. This is Carnival Catwalk.
Rome and Candy get ready to take you on an adventure where fashion meets carnival inside the Carnival Catwalk. This morning, birthday boy Rome is joining me on set. It's Rome! Morning, brother. How you doing?
I am great.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
And all that good stuff.
Thank you.
Carnival Catwalk. Let me get into it one time. What inspired this idea?
I was sitting at home during the pandemic in a little rut, a creative rut, because everything shut down.
Yeah.
And why I was extra sad at that point is that the year before I signed a contract with VH1 when I was on Girls Cruise.
Right.
And I was signed for 4 seasons. And because of the pandemic,
They canceled
it. So
Way.
I was there. I already bought my ticket to go to LA right before COVID hit. And I was like, what I gonna do now, boy? How do I get myself back on international TV? I was like, well, create your own TV show and put yourself on it.
Makes sense.
And I sat and I was playing around. And that was the initial idea. How do I get myself back on TV? And then it evolved into, you know what? We have a lot of Caribbean talent here that has never landed on an international streaming platform in terms of a production that was created by Caribbean people, specifically Trinidad and Tobago nationals. And I remember that Anya was on Project Runway,
Right.
and then I was on VH1. But other than that, we didn't really have any homegrown people. I mean, we had Winston Duke who made it, but to say people who born, bred, grew up in Trinidad and Tobago who made it out there, we hardly have anybody.
And who's still living here.
And who's still living here, kind of thing, right? So when I started playing around with ideas, and I was like, what is one thing that Trinidad and Tobago is known for? Carnival. So how do we appeal to an international audience with our carnival? And then I was like, fashion, because that's one thing that everybody could relate to. And then I picked up the phone, I spoke to my friend Gian Franco, who is a television producer in LA. He loved the idea. He was like, yo, I think we need to get Anya on this, because she was on Project Runway.
Naturally.
Picked up the phone. At that point in time, I did not know Anya.
For real?
To have a personal relationship with her. No.
Okay.
I met her in like events to say hi.
Yeah.
She loved the idea. She always wanted to do it. We spoke to her. She connected us with the producers of Project Runway, and it was just a snowball effect. So we had two of the producers from Project Runway consult with us to create Carnival Catwalk. We used the casting directors from Project Runway and Making the Cut, and they were the ones who got the contestants. So on this show, it's not local contestants alone. We have 4 local contestants, and we have 6 international contestants.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we have a guy from Taiwan, we have people from Benin in Africa, we have London, we have Atlanta, we have India, we have Amsterdam, all came to Trinidad and Tobago to shoot this.
But how were they able to connect to the carnival culture and the carnival couture?
So this is where the show is so unique compared to like a Project Runway or Making the Cut.
Yeah.
Is that every single episode of the show, we give them inspiration from Trinidad and Tobago's carnival and our culture. So every episode starts with a carnival inspiration, and then they have to go off and design couture or an international fashion design that is inspired by our culture.
I feel like the 4 would have an advantage because they're born and bred in this.
They did have an advantage in knowing the culture. However, the designs had to be international designs.
Okay. So it wasn't just making a carnival
No,
costume.
it wasn't like making a carnival costume because then we only had 3 episodes.
I don't understand. What you trying to
just
say?
have front line, back line, and one day wear.
Nah, man, don't do me that, nah, man. No, don't do me that. You want to tell me Michelle walk through the door for you? Oh, you going on with
But
man?
that's the great thing about the show is that as much as the average person will think it only had 3 parts to Trinidad and Tobago Carnival in terms of costuming, what we did was that we had educational pieces of Trinidad and Tobago's culture.
Right.
So we had episodes where we inspire with the steel pan, and now you had to go and create an international design for a music singer out in the world inspired by our steel pan. So people design for Harry Styles, they design for Beyonce, inspired by the steel pan. So you can look out for things like that. We had the traditional carnival costumes, the Dan Lorraine and the Midnight Robber. We have elements of that in there. And then we would teach people about our culture. So the show is being broadcasted throughout the islands, throughout the Caribbean islands, and internationally. So we had to make sure that the people internationally who just know Carnival as a jump and wave and a wine and jam, they are going to be taught about our culture through this show and through fashion.
And that's definitely something that's much needed, because I think the misconception is that it's just strictly bikinis, beads, feathers, a jump and wave. So I'm happy to hear that. How long did it take to shoot this?
Boy, well, it took over 2 years to make the show.
Right.
And then it took us 35 days to film this. The entire show was filmed over 35 days in Napa. So Napa is split into, a lot of people don't know that.
Split in 3.
Well, right. There's UTT, there's the performing arts.
Right.
There's
the auditorium, UTT, and then the hotel.
And then there's the hotel.
Right.
I myself didn't even know there was a hotel there.
Right.
A fully functional hotel. It was looking great. It is like, I didn't want to say it. It is a top class hotel that we have there at Napa. We dusted it off and we housed all of the contestants in there.
Okay.
And we turned the entire hotel into a studio set. So we flew in the judges. So the judges were international judges as well. So we have Fee Noel, who's Grenadian roots, who designed for Nike and LeBron James. We had Melissa Simon Hartman, who designed for Beyonce. We have Geoff Cooper, who's from London, Trini-based as well. And we flew all of these people in. We flew Novia McDonald-White, who works for the Jamaica Observer.
Right.
She was blown away by Napa. She was like, I can't believe you all have a studio like this, a set like this, and you have people being housed here, they live in here. Could we bring our Jamaican productions into Trinidad and Tobago to do this? And I had to tell her, well, this is not a studio set at all. It's actually a hotel.
Maybe better used as a studio set,
It could
but
be
that's
used
a different
as that,
conversation altogether.
And we housed it there. So all the contestants lived in that Napa hotel.
Right.
And it was amazing. Over 35 days we shot it there. We took them on location. They went to like Bamboo Cathedral, they went to Blanchy Shares, they went to the beach. We took them different places where we shot to get the beauty of Trinidad and Tobago. And then the winner actually went to Milan Fashion Week and ended up on Harper's Bazaar, ended up on Vogue Italia, and we had a full display. Not just attended Milan Fashion Week, but displayed and showcased at Milan Fashion Week. So the purpose of the show was not only to showcase our culture, but to showcase our talent as fashion designers and show them on an international stage. Because I feel as though our local designers, they want to design for local mass brands and then they hit a glass ceiling. And then where do they go from there? We have some of the most amazing designs in the world. I've been to Paris and I've seen Moulin Rouge and I watched the costumes on display and I was like, yo, our Trinidad and Tobago Carnival costumes will beat this going and coming. And I wanted to give those designers that international opportunity.
So I could ask if the winner was from Trinidad or
I
not?
can't tell you that. You gotta watch the show and see.
You give me a little hint or some kind of...
But I can tell you, the show is very entertaining. If you're not somebody who's not really into fashion, this show is entertaining. The Trinis brought that level of entertainment. The bacchanal, the drama. And in the show, you would see like there was a underlying rift between the international contestants and the Trini contestants.
Naturally.
Because and they kind of group up, and there are a lot of cliques that formed. And as the show evolved, they had team challenges. So it is something that I don't think Trinidad and Tobago has ever seen a product like this, and I'm not beating my own chest with it because it wasn't me alone. I want to thank the SGP Production Studios who would have been a part of this, Gianfranco and the Pavilion streaming app. So anybody internationally who wants to look at the show, you can download Pavilion Plus. It has all of the local content, things from back from Westwood Park, Bazodi, Cutlass, everything is on the platform. And now Carnival Catwalk will be there so people could look at it and stream it.
I was going to ask in terms of the relation between the international people that that were involved and the local people, not just the contestants, but the production team. How many of the, what percentage would you say?
It was a small percentage. So I would tell you the persons involved. So we have two of the producers from Project Runway who were the consulting producers.
Right.
And then we had Vital Casting, who Project Runway are making the cut, and Legally Blonde, they were the casting director. So they got the international contestants for us.
Right.
And then the director, he was actually from Love is Blind and from The Bachelor.
Okay.
So we flew him in, so he was the director that led. And then we had the post-production supervising producer. She would have worked on Dancing with the Stars and Love Island. And then the guy who cut the trailer, he actually worked on RuPaul's Drag Race and Real Housewives of Atlanta. So those were the elements that we had international. Everyone else was local. So what we wanted to do was to fuse the international with the local so that our local people could learn from them, and then we could produce these things on our own.
Do we plan to have a Carnival Catwalk too?
Well, it depends on the support from corporate Trinidad and Tobago.
How was the support for the first one?
It was good. It can be great. This has been an expensive production. So
but the amount of people you're flying, of course it's expensive.
It costs us, honestly, it costs us millions of dollars. I think it is being touted as the largest television production that Trinidad and Tobago has ever seen, and by the Caribbean at large, in terms of born and grown here. I mean, the Bob Marley movie that took place in Jamaica, that entire thing was flown in and just shot in Jamaica. This is a Trinidad and Tobago production that was shot here. We had over 180 cast and crew members on there. People who got the experience, learned, and it was our creatives who got that. So now we could produce anything coming out of this production.
What do you hope it does for the economy of Trinidad and Tobago, especially during this carnival season?
So what we're hoping with this is that we didn't do this show for it to be local. As much as we wanted it to air locally, and it will, this has been opening doors for us internationally. I had 3 different meetings with Netflix. Last week I had a meeting with Amazon. So what we want with this show is that we get the interest internationally for the show, and we'll be able to sell the show where it lands on an international streaming platform and open the doors for other local production and local creatives to start exporting our creative genius internationally, and then generate some foreign revenue for this, because the amount of money they pay us, yes, it costs us millions of dollars in TT, but if we sell this thing to an international platform, we can make millions of dollars in US coming into Trinidad and Tobago. And this is something that we don't think. We think of, yeah man, I can make it and I'm a big fish, but in a small pond.
Yeah.
We can make this thing international. When we had those meetings with Netflix, they loved it. Amazon loved it. We had meetings with
But when they buy
everybody.
one, what else are they going to buy?
So what we want is that we have season 1 is Trinidad and Tobago, and then season 2, 3, 4, 5, this could be something. You could have different seasons in different countries as well.
No, but I mean in terms of if you open the door, right? You say you're opening the door for us to be able to have it as accessible for the economy, right? But are there other productions on the level that they require?
So what they want...
Not just your show, eh?
Right, so what they want is a stream. So I can give you an idea.
Exactly.
One of the meetings that we had was with an international sales agent, and they actually focus on horror films.
Right.
So they asked us, and I don't do horror. Do we have any other productions that horror? And I know that Tini Lualo, she has a horror production. Right. So I will put her on now and say, here's what, you have a production, go with them and let's do it. Any of the other creatives, you all have productions, let's put you onto these sales agents, let's put you onto the Netflix and open those doors for you.
That's what we're talking
So it's not about just Carnival Catwalk, because I also won the bid for the new soca competition. So
you gotta come back and talk about that, because that's a whole different conversation altogether.
So what we want to do is open those doors so that now this new soca competition could get that kind of...
I find you ain't even releasing the name yet. When you say new soca competition...
It's coming out, and at the launch of Carnival Catwalk, we will reveal the name.
And the launch of Carnival Catwalk is happening this Wednesday?
This Wednesday
at Napa. We moved from the hotel to the auditorium.
Right. I mean, it's an invite-only event, so... I mean, you all are invited.
I'll be there.
Of course, you'll be there. It's a red carpet event. It's the first event of its kind because it's the first show of its kind. So this is going to be a red carpet event where we have paparazzi lined up. You had to come out in people in their suit and their nice dresses, and all these celebrities there, and everybody taking pictures, and we have red carpet interviews, and we want to do this like how we see it done internationally. So when you go to the Grammys and you see that, we're going to give that effect for this event to make this thing grand, because we had to start to think on a different level with everything that we do.
I hope that also means the financial planning as well, so that we can all benefit from it as we go forward. Rome, thank you so much for coming out this morning and sharing with us, and all the best. I know the launch is going to be fantastic on Wednesday, and we look forward to seeing the Carnival Catwalk.
Closing, I would invite corporate Trinidad and Tobago to come on board with us. We're inviting them to the launch and to give us that support. As I said, this has been an expensive venture that come out of our pockets.
Yeah.
We did get some support, so thank you very much to all of the partners and sponsors that we have, but we still have room for more to help us to cover these costs as we move forward and to market the show internationally.
Yeah, thank you so much, Rome. Carnival Catwalk is on. Definitely check it out, Pavilion Plus, you said, right?
Yep.
All right, fantastic. We take a quick break and come back with more in our morning show. Stick around.